I think we just found one deceased person inside a house. What's the address here? There's no address. There's no address. I'm going to wait for you at the gate. I'm going to wait.
A mystery shaking Hollywood. A haunting message from Gene Hackman's final days has surfaced, raising unanswered questions. Could the legendary actor's last words hold clues to his mysterious passing? On our channel, we dive deep into never-before-revealed details, uncovering the true meaning behind his chilling message. As theories continue to spiral, what hidden truths are waiting to be exposed? Join us as we follow the trail of this mystery, because sometimes final words are more than just a goodbye.
I just hope people remember me as someone who tried to do good work. So I think I speak for us all when I say, Gene, you'll be remembered for that and for so much more.
Gene Hackman, the Hollywood legend and the secret recording mystery. Gene Hackman, a name forever tied to iconic roles and a living legend of Hollywood. But behind the dazzling spotlight, the final days of his life were shrouded in darkness. Not a peaceful farewell, but a haunting descent into his own tormented mind. What shocked the public wasn't just his passing, but what he left behind. A secret recording filled with panic, despair, and chilling revelations. Hackman was once one of the most powerful actors in Hollywood, a true master of the craft. Yet, his final days were far from the golden glow of the Oscars he once held. He seemed trapped in a world where reality and past memories blurred together. A place where love, loneliness, and painful recollections suffocated every breath. No one knows exactly what haunted him so deeply that he felt compelled to record his final words. But when the recording leaked, it sent chills down the spines of those who listened. In the recording, Hackman's voice was no longer the commanding presence audiences had known. Instead, it trembled, sometimes frantic, sometimes whispering as if speaking to someone unseen. At moments, he screamed cryptic phrases, mentioning unknown names, vague recollections of manipulation, betrayal, and ghosts from the past that refused to let him go. This recording wasn't just a final message, it was a desperate plea from a soul trapped in invisible terror. His death raised countless questions. Were his words the result of aging and illness, or did he truly know something the world was never meant to hear? Some believe he was a victim of unseen forces, hinting at a dark conspiracy in his final, panic-stricken moments. Others dismiss it as the hallucinations of a fading mind, unable to distinguish reality from nightmare. But one thing remains certain. The mystery of this recording has left people unable to stop speculating. Despite the enigma surrounding his final days, one fact is undeniable. Gene Hackman was one of the greatest actors in cinematic history. He dedicated his life to the art of film, leaving behind an unforgettable legacy. And though he departed under unanswered questions, his impact will live on in the hearts of audiences forever. But the question remains, what was Gene Hackman truly trying to reveal in his secret recording? And will we ever know the truth? What do you think about this mystery? Was it a hidden conspiracy, or simply the ramblings of a mind at its breaking point? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion.
Security then checked on the residence and observed Mr. Hackman and Miss Arakawa on the ground unresponsive through a window and called 911. Deputies arrived and gained access to the residence where they observed Mrs. Arakawa deceased. They continued the search of their home and located Mr. Hackman in a separate area of the residence, also deceased. A German Shepherd was also found deceased and two.
The Silent Villa in Santa Fe. The final mystery of Gene Hackman. Santa Fe, New Mexico. a land of rolling hills bathed in brilliant sunlight, where the deep blue sky seems to stretch endlessly. Amidst this tranquil beauty lies a mysterious villa, hidden away from the chaotic world where Gene Hackman, the Hollywood legend, chose to spend his final days. No longer a shining star on the red carpet, no longer the center of attention in glamorous interviews, and no longer basking in the spotlight, he vanished from Hollywood to retreat to this villa with his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Locals refer to it as the Silent Villa, a place filled with untold, enigmatic stories. Hackman's villa is unlike the opulent mansions of other Hollywood stars. It possesses a timeless beauty, harmonizing with the harsh nature of Santa Fe. Surrounded by dry trees and rugged rocks, it creates an atmosphere that is both peaceful and eerily melancholic. The locals rarely saw Hackman venture outside. He avoided all the noise and prying eyes. No one truly knew what transpired within those walls, only whispers and tales that gradually cloaked the villa in mystery. Hackman's absolute silence sparked numerous rumors. Some speculated he lived in seclusion due to his exhaustion with Hollywood, a place that had once celebrated him, but was also ready to bury a legend in an instant. Others suggested he hid away because he knew something, a secret he never intended to reveal. The less information there was about him, the more the public's curiosity grew. Did Hackman uncover something that made him want to cut ties with the outside world? Betsy Arakawa, Hackman's second wife, was equally enigmatic. Rarely seen in public, she always kept their private life under wraps. Those who interacted with Betsy described her as calm yet inscrutable, as if she were guarding some hidden truth. Her presence in the villa only added to the atmosphere of mystery surrounding the place. Strangely enough, even as Gene Hackman's health deteriorated with age, he steadfastly refused to return to Hollywood. Not even once. No comeback films, no tribute interviews, and no public farewell to his audience. A former box office titan and Academy Award winner, he ultimately chose to distance himself from the spotlight without explanation. Had Hackman perceived something about Hollywood that remained unknown to us? On the day Hackman passed away, the villa in Santa Fe retained its silence. No crowds gathered, no grand memorials were held, just a house standing alone, isolated and enigmatic like its owner. Yet the question remains. What truly lies within the silent villa in Santa Fe? A simple retreat, or a prison for the soul of a legend? What do you think about Gene Hackman's choice? Did he merely seek peace, or was there something darker at play? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion.
Barbara Lenehan, decades-long friends of the Hackman family, spoke to People magazine, claiming that Hackman's health had been on the decline for some time.
Breaking news, you're looking at video of one of the last times Oscar winner Gene Hackman, a known recluse in recent years, was seen in public. As we're learning incredible new details this hour about the circumstances surrounding his death. His front door open, scattered pills on the bathroom countertop, one dog dead in the closet, two still alive on the property.
They shared that they believed Hackman to be, quote, essentially homebound, and that, quote, Betsy tried to keep him kind of active via puzzles and Zoom yoga. She was still trying to keep him as active and engaged and healthy as possible. However,
Betsy Arakawa, the mysterious woman and her control over Gene Hackman's life. Betsy Arakawa, a name that may seem unfamiliar to the public, but belongs to the woman who held the key to Gene Hackman's life for over 3 decades. She wasn't an actress, nor was she a powerful Hollywood producer, yet her influence over the legendary star of the big screen was undeniable. The relationship between Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa was not just a simple love story. It was a connection filled with mystery, one that included companionship but also elements that left people questioning. Their meeting wasn't a typical Hollywood romance where a glamorous starlet falls for a famous actor. Betsy entered Hackman's life when he was past the peak of his career, at a time when he sought to step away from the spotlight in search of peace. Rumors suggested that Betsy wasn't drawn to Hackman for his fame, but because he was the one person who could provide her with stability. But was that really the case? Or was there something deeper, a bond so strong it became unbreakable? Their love was unlike the extravagant relationships commonly seen in Hollywood. It was private, silent, and at times it seemed to take on an air of control. Betsy Arakawa disliked attention. She seemed to want Hackman entirely to herself. After they married, she persuaded him to leave behind Hollywood's lavish lifestyle and move to Santa Fe, where they lived in complete seclusion. It was a bold decision for a film legend, but Hackman agreed. From that moment on, was he truly free, or had he unknowingly placed himself under Betsy's control? What's even more intriguing is that after moving in with Betsy, Gene Hackman nearly severed all ties with his old friends, colleagues, and even some family members. Those who once knew him wondered why a man who had been so vibrant and full of life chose to disappear from the public eye so completely. Some believed it was his own personal choice, but others speculated that Betsy was behind it all. She was not just a wife. She was the one who dictated every aspect of Hackman's life, from the people he could see to the places he could go and the things he could do. Betsy Arakawa's control reportedly extended beyond isolating Hackman from the outside world. Rumors circulated that she also gained control over his assets, finances, and estate. While Hackman never spoke publicly about this, people couldn't help but wonder, if he truly wanted a peaceful life, then why did all traces of him virtually vanish? Could it be that, behind the closed doors of their Santa Fe estate, Hackman didn't just find solitude, but a silent captivity he could never escape? Gene Hackman's passing left behind unanswered questions. Was he truly happy in his final years, or was he simply a forgotten legend, living under the influence of a mysterious woman? And if there was a hidden truth behind it all, would it ever come to light? What do you think about the relationship between Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Was it a genuine love story, or is there something more beneath the surface? Share your thoughts in the comments. The isolation and mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's final recording. It is said that Gene Hackman chose a reclusive life in Santa Fe to enjoy peace. But is that the whole truth? Or behind the closed doors of his mansion lies a mysterious story that no one could have expected? One particular detail has stirred the few who have had the chance to step into his private space: the existence of a recording labeled by Hackman as "Final Words, Private." The story begins when a local plumber, hired to work on Hackman's estate in 2023, accidentally spotted a tape recorder on the Hollywood legend's desk. In the dim light, a small piece of paper lay beside it with a shaky handwritten note reading, "Final Words, Private." The plumber didn't dare to pry, but the eerie feeling of witnessing signs of a mind slipping into isolation and confusion was palpable. What could compel a man once renowned for his powerful performances to record such a mysterious message? Hackman's old friends had repeatedly tried to reach out to him, but all their attempts were met with silence. No one received a returned call. No letters were answered. The only response they got was a blank letter with no indication of who sent it, containing just 3 words: "Leave me alone." Was it a warning, a plea, or a sign of despair? Many believe that this recording contains secrets Hackman didn't want to take to his grave. Perhaps it holds his final thoughts on life, things he never expressed publicly. Or worse, it might be a confession about things he witnessed, dark truths Hollywood always tries to conceal. What drove him to feel the need to record final words in such absolute silence? Betsy Arakawa, Hackman's enigmatic wife, has never mentioned this recording. When asked about her husband's isolation, she simply stated that he wanted a quiet life, away from Hollywood's noise. Yet those close to Hackman don't believe that's the entire truth. They remember a strong, sharp-witted Hackman who never backed down from anyone. So why did he vanish completely, leaving behind such a shadowy trail? The questions remain unanswered. Does the recording still exist, or has Betsy destroyed it? If it remains, who would have the courage to reveal its true content? A legend cannot vanish without leaving traces. But the traces Hackman left are too fragile, too mysterious, and too frightening. What do you think about this secret? Did Gene Hackman truly want to rest in peace? Or did he leave behind a message the world has yet to decode? Share your thoughts in the comments.
And the Oscar goes to Gene Hackman in Unforgiven.
Thank you very much.
The mysterious recording and eerie signs. When news of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, mysteriously disappearing spread, it sent shockwaves through the community. Investigators dispatched to their Santa Fe estate in search of clues discovered an old recording device sitting on Hackman's desk. But the chilling part? There was no recording inside. This unsettling detail left fans and admirers questioning the truth behind his disappearance. Could this recorder have been part of a secret plan Hackman devised to leave behind his final thoughts? Many believe he intended to deliver a message to the world but, for some unknown reason, was unable to do so. The mystery surrounding his silence only deepens the eerie nature of the case. Was it a confession of secrets he had carried throughout his life? Secrets Hollywood never wanted exposed? Betsy Arakawa, the wife Hackman cherished, seems to hold the key to these unanswered questions. Yet, no one has been able to reach her for clarity. She has refused all interviews, maintaining a strict silence during this time of crisis. Speculation has grown that Betsy might know something no one else does. Could she be the only one who possesses the truth about Gene Hackman's final days? Investigators have tried to determine whether the recording device belonged to a specific period in Hackman's life. Searching the surrounding space for clues, they uncovered only faint, cryptic traces. The paintings on the walls, the personal memorabilia, everything pointed to a life marked by loneliness and haunting memories. Some theorize that Hackman may have recorded his final moments, pouring out his deepest emotions: love, pain, and despair. As the investigation continues, rumors have spread like wildfire across social media. Users have speculated about the possible contents of the missing recording, with some making bold claims about the secrets Hackman might have revealed. Others have gone even further, suggesting he recognized a looming danger and chose to seal himself away in silence. The online frenzy has only intensified the mystery, fueling endless debates and speculation. Amidst the whispers and uncertainty, one looming question remains. If the recording truly exists, will it bring closure to a tormented legend, or will it expose the dark truths Hollywood has long sought to bury? Many missed the chance to understand Gene Hackman in his lifetime, and now an empty recorder has become the sole remnant of a brilliant but solitary man. What do you think? Could this missing recording hold shocking revelations? Did Gene Hackman leave behind a message exposing hidden truths? Or was Betsy the only one entrusted with his secrets? Share your thoughts in the comments. Betsy Arakawa, the woman controlling Gene. Hackman's life. Gene Hackman, the legendary Hollywood icon, was once a strong and independent man. But as age took its toll, he gradually became more dependent on his wife, Betsy Arakawa. She was not just his life partner, she controlled every aspect of his daily existence. From managing his diet and regulating his medication intake to deciding who could have access to him, everything was orchestrated by Betsy. Hackman's old friends noticed a drastic change. The once powerful screen presence had become a shadow of his former self, surrounded by invisible constraints imposed by the very woman he trusted most. Betsy's control extended beyond just Hackman's health. It also affected his family relationships. Leslie Hackman, Gene's daughter from his first marriage, found herself increasingly pushed out of his life. She confided in close friends that Betsy was the biggest obstacle between her and her father. Calls went unanswered, messages were ignored, and the rare moments she managed to see him were always under Betsy's watchful gaze. It seemed that anyone who wanted to get close to Hackman had to go through Betsy first, and not everyone was granted access. The big question remains, was Betsy truly taking care of Gene out of love, or was she controlling him in ways no one had imagined? Those close to Hackman noticed that he made fewer public appearances, and when he did, Betsy was always by his side, as if he was no longer capable of making decisions on his own. Some sources even claimed that Hackman had no direct access to his own bank accounts. Betsy controlled everything. More unsettling signs emerged over time. A former housekeeper at their Santa Fe mansion revealed that Hackman often appeared anxious and distressed when he was alone. He once whispered that he felt trapped, as if he no longer had control over his own life. But strangely, the moment Betsy walked into the room, he would immediately return to normal, as if nothing had ever happened. These small, chilling moments only deepened the suspicions surrounding their relationship. The tension reached its peak when Leslie Hackman tried to contact her father regarding his estate. She wanted to know whether he had personally approved the changes in his will, but every attempt to reach him was blocked by Betsy. No one could get to Gene Hackman without going through her first. Was this truly an act of protection for an aging man, or was it a form of manipulative control? The story of Betsy Arakawa and her influence over Gene Hackman remains a highly debated mystery. Many believe she was a devoted wife, ensuring her husband's well-being in his final years, but others suspect she systematically imprisoned the Hollywood legend in an invisible cage of her own making. What do you think? Did Gene Hackman spend his final years in peace? Or was he merely a man manipulated by the woman he trusted most? Share your thoughts below.
I think we just found one deceased person inside the house. What's the address here? There's no address. I'm going to wait for you at the gate. I'm going to wait for you at the gate since somebody...
The final pact and manipulation. Who decides Gene Hackman's fate? In the later years of his life, Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were rumored to have signed a final pact, a commitment to be together forever, no matter what happened. To outsiders, this seemed like a sweet vow between a couple who had been together for over 30 years. However, for those close to them, particularly Hackman's daughter, Leslie Hackman, it could be a sign of dangerous manipulation. This pact was not just a declaration of love, it also granted Betsy complete control over all decisions regarding Gene Hackman's life and death. From the moment they signed, Betsy began to take full control of her husband's health matters. She managed his diet, monitored his medication, and even decided whether Hackman should be hospitalized. All of it lay in Betsy's hands. She always insisted that she was only doing what was best for her husband. But many started to question. Did Hackman truly agree with everything happening, or was he simply no longer able to make decisions for himself? Leslie began to grow suspicious when she could no longer communicate directly with her father. Her calls were either declined or answered by Betsy. Even when Leslie visited, her time with her father was extremely limited and closely supervised by Betsy. No one knew how Gene Hackman truly felt, as his voice was gradually replaced by that of his wife. More alarming signs emerged when a close friend of Hackman revealed that in 2022 he mentioned a second will, a document he had written while still of sound mind, containing decisions that were vastly different from those Betsy was enacting. However, no one had ever seen this will. It had vanished without a trace, much like Gene Hackman slowly disappeared from public life. One of the most frightening discoveries Leslie made was that the contents of the final pact allowed Betsy to make all decisions regarding Hackman's death. This meant that if his health deteriorated, Betsy could decide to end his life without consulting anyone else. This was what deeply troubled Leslie. Did her father truly wish to die in silence? Or was it merely the arrangement of the woman who had controlled his life for so many years? The question arises, did Gene Hackman willingly sign this pact? Or was he manipulated into doing so? Did he genuinely want to leave this world in solitude? Or was there an unseen force behind this decision? The truth remains hidden, and only time may provide answers. What do you think about this story? Does Betsy Arakawa truly love Gene Hackman? Or is she simply wielding absolute power? Share your thoughts below.
Kawa sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and Santa Fe. Hackman, despite having retired in 2004, remained a beloved figure in Hollywood, respected for his incredible range and dedication. His performances in films like The French Connection and Unforgiven, both of which earned him Academy Awards, had cemented his legacy. Arakawa, though less publicly known, was respected as a talented classical pianist. The couple.
The final vow and strange requests. Did Gene Hackman truly control his own fate? The final years of Gene Hackman's life were far from what one might expect for a Hollywood legend. He did not bask in the glow of fame, nor did he enjoy his retirement, surrounded by old friends and colleagues. Instead, he was completely isolated in his Santa Fe mansion, where everything was under the control of Betsy Arakawa, the wife who had been by his side for over 3 decades. At first, people believed it was love, but over time, things became stranger and more unsettling. As Hackman's health declined, Betsy made all the decisions, from scheduling doctor's appointments to determining what medications he was allowed to take. No one else had a say. Calls from his children and friends became increasingly rare. When Leslie Hackman, his daughter, tried to reach out, her calls were either rejected or answered by Betsy on his behalf. She had no way of directly contacting her father, apart from short messages that were never returned. Even more alarming were the unusual requests Betsy began making. A close family source revealed that she had contacted a lawyer to discuss end-of-life care, including the possibility of assisted death if Gene Hackman no longer wished to continue. This was not just a standard medical decision, it was absolute control over his life and death. Betsy no longer treated Hackman as an individual with agency, but as someone entirely in her hands, whose fate she could determine at any moment. Meanwhile, staff members at the mansion began noticing strange signs. A housekeeper once claimed that Hackman had written a long letter, but the letter was never sent. No one knew what it contained, but after that day, Hackman became eerily silent. He stopped speaking much, stopped expressing any desires, as if he had resigned himself to a life of control. One of the most chilling details was the final vow between Gene Hackman and Betsy. A source alleged that Betsy had asked Hackman to sign a document granting her full authority over his life and death decisions. If he ever became critically ill or unable to care for himself, Betsy could choose the time and manner of his passing, without consulting anyone else. There was no official confirmation of this document, but everything that followed raised a haunting question. Did Hackman truly wish for this, or did he simply have no other choice? The truth about Gene Hackman's final days remains a mystery. He disappeared from the world quietly, no public statements, no farewell meetings with friends or former colleagues. Every decision was made by Betsy, and no one knows if they were truly in accordance with Hackman's wishes. This raises a larger question. Did Gene Hackman willingly surrender control over his own life, or was he merely a pawn in the hands of a powerful wife? What do you think? Did Gene Hackman make these choices of his own free will, or was Betsy Arakawa pulling all the strings? Share your thoughts below. Thank you for watching and joining us on this journey to uncover the mysteries behind Hollywood's glitz and glamour. Your support is what drives us to bring you shocking stories and hidden truths that have never been revealed. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming content. Don't hesitate to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.